back to Alice Talks Football and welcome back to a live... Ooh, frozen there. Hello and welcome back to Alice Talks Football and welcome back to a live Manchester United news, transfer news, manager news, update show. I think we've got some pretty interesting stories coming out today. Of course, it is the international break. International break is that sort of time of the year where, like, the stories are a bit repetitive and a bit is the source catch up kind of thing, and there's a lot of nonsense being written and wrote about. That's what I say about the international break. But look, I think there's some interesting stories coming out today. 4 exits have pretty much been confirmed, although we sort of expected them. Ashworth, potential secret weapon, Yoro, Kone, Obi Martin, what is the plan there? Ten Hag's future, apparently a transfer target in January, said no because we're in 14th, having second thoughts, as that's a story going about the Tuchel England situation. Harry Amass, could he be given minutes? Mount Malacia, Sir Alex Ferguson. We're going to get into all the stories that have come out today. And look, guys, my new camera comes tomorrow. So look, I apologise for any freeze frames. I apologise for any lag in the camera. The new camera comes tomorrow. So hopefully that sorts the fact that the camera keeps freezing every now and then. But please do hit the like button. Of course, subscribe down below to Alice Talks Football if you're new. And I want to get into all of the stories. But I do want to pick out, we are on the road to 100,000 subscribers. And I'm currently 6 subscribers away from 95.2k. I'm on 95,194 subscribers. So big up everybody in that. But let's dive into this first story here, which is on the potential 4 exits. Now, actually, no, this isn't the potential 4 exits. This is just the Antony story. Forgot to add that. It's Antony's story, then we're going to get into the 4 exit stories. My bad. Let's dive into this story that's come out on Antony to begin with. Manchester United are open to letting Antony go out on loan in January to help secure a permanent move for him next summer. The club would be able to listen to offers around 40 million for the Brazilian. If we get 40 million for Antony in the summer, give Ineos a statue. Because I think we'd be lucky to get 20 million. I think we'd probably get 20 million from him, if I'm going to be totally honest. If he has a good loan spell, maybe. But for me, I don't think there's any chance we get 40 million for Antony. I really don't think there is. And if we do, give Ineos a statue. Because I'm going to say this now. They don't like Antony. They don't want Antony. They don't rate him. Because, let's be honest, they wanted to go out on loan in January because they want to get his value up so they have a chance of selling him in the summer. Ineos want Antony gone. They know it's going to be hard to sell him. They know he's not good enough for United. He's not going to get the minutes. He's not going to impress. So they're thinking, what can we do? Let's let him go out in January. If you're Antony, you 85 million signing at United, you've barely played this season, you were not good enough last season, and the club is like, can you go out on loan in January? You know you're not wanted by the club. You know you're not in the long-term plans. And let's be honest, do I think Ten Hag's going to be here for the January transfer window? I don't think he is. I'd love him to turn it around and get something going, but I don't think he will. And I don't like to be negative like that. I just think we've not turned it around in 18 months. So if Ten Hag's not here in January, there's no reason for Antony. He's not an Ineos signing. He's a Ten Hag signing. Ten Hag might not be here. He doesn't play anyway. He's not been good enough. He's on high wages. Ineos want Antony gone. And the fact that they're willing to let him go out on loan to see if they can get rid of him in the summer, to try and help them get rid of him in the summer, I think says a lot. A rebuild says Antony spinning out the club. There's interest from Newcastle. There was a rumour that Newcastle would pay 35 million for him. I wish that was true. Paul Mitchell, please do that. There's interest back in Brazil. He's not going to go there. There's interest at Ajax. There's interest in Crystal Palace at Antony, but it's going to be difficult to sell him. If there was any credibility in Betis taking Antony on loan last summer, we should have jumped on that to raise his value. I agree. I just think the reason they didn't do that is like, we might be short on wingers. Do we want to take the risk on Amad, Garnacho and Rashford? Rashford out of form. Amad not really played a first team football for United, and Garnacho very young. I think they were like, we probably need Antony for the depth because Sancho and Greenwood are gone and we didn't get Elise. I think had Elise been there on the market, maybe they would have looked at bringing in Elise and letting go of Antony. I think had Elise been there, but yeah, no, I agree. 40 million for Antony, I just don't think there's a chance. The club will listen to offers for 40 million, but they also listen to offers of 30 million and 10 million. I think we can get 20 to 25 million for him. But I just, for me, I don't think, if we get over 30 million for Antony, I'd be absolutely gassed. Eze for Antony, I think we'd have to give them a bit of money up top. We'd have to give them like at least 25 million and Antony for Eze. Which, to be honest, I probably would do. Although I don't think Eze's had the best start to the season, I think. But then I also think that Glasnow's not had a great start to the season with Crystal Palace. I think they've been as bad as us, and some of the football they've played has been as bad as us as well. Newcastle's transfer policy is no dickhead, so that puts that rumour to bed. True. But to be fair, I don't know what Newcastle have been doing in the transfer window lately. They've not had a good summer in the transfer window. And Paul Mitchell's a good guy, but there's a lot of rumours and speculation about fallouts there, but you just don't know what's true. And look, I do apologise for any freeze frames. A new camera comes tomorrow, keeps freezing for some reason. It's doing my head in. So I'm hoping that it doesn't affect the audio, because I think the audio is more important than the picture in my live stream, of course. But yeah, what do you think of the Fergie situation? I did a video on it earlier, but there was a few issues with the audio. Look, I don't think there was a need. And if Ferguson agreed to it, fine, whatever. But I just think Alex Ferguson built the club, and he can have whatever pension he wants, in my opinion. It's less than the majority of our players' wages. But I can also understand it from Ineos' perspective of, we need to cost cut, we need to let go of the Sir Alex Ferguson thing. This is the Glazers. We need a cost cut in every way. I think Sir Alex Ferguson's had enough money from the club, but at the same time, he is the reason the club makes the kind of money it does, because of the success he brought to it. So I think Sir Alex Ferguson is one of the only people that's entitled to take money out of the club. The Glazers are not entitled to take money out of the club. I don't care if they're owners or not, but Sir Alex Ferguson is, if I'm going to be honest as well. So I think the fact that, Sir Alex Ferguson sat before 10 August deadline is, quite an eventful headline, but I can understand why Ineos have done it. And I don't think it's super deep, but I wouldn't have done it myself. I think, Alex Ferguson's done enough with this club. I don't think we need to do much towards him. But yeah, if we can get 40 million for Antony, that would be unbelievable. If we can get 80 million for Antony. If Newcastle want to come in and give us 80 million for Antony, I'd really appreciate that as well. Alice, what's going on with Agate? I discussed this a little bit earlier. Manchester United basically have a plan to integrate Agate. Apparently, Ten Hag is planning to use and integrate Agate a lot more post the international break. And he's apparently going to start versus Brentford, is one of the rumours going about. But I do want to talk about the 4 exits at Manchester United that are expected this summer. I'm feeling like I'm about to sneeze, so no, it's not coming. It's not coming anymore. But if I do sneeze, I do apologise. I feel like but let's dive into the story in regards to. Sorry, there we go. It's come into the next 4 exits. So obviously, we know that Antony, Casemiro are players that they definitely want out in the summer. They want to sell. They want to get money for them because of the wages, because Ineos don't rate them. And they're also potentially interested in seeing if they can get some money for Maguire. In terms of exits, it's said that Christian Eriksen is unlikely to be staying at Manchester United beyond the end of the season, despite his recent first-team revival, and that Tom Heaton, Johnny Evans, Victor Lindelof and Christian Eriksen have all entered the final year of their contracts, and they do not have an option for an additional year. It's likely they will depart Man United this summer. It's pretty much been confirmed that we will not extend their contracts. Johnny Evans and Eriksen, they potentially could be extended, but I don't think they will. Tom Heaton's contract's not going to be extended. Lindelof's contract's not going to be extended. Evans shouldn't be extended, because as much as I like Evans, he just shouldn't. And I think Ineos don't plan to. And Eriksen shouldn't be extended, because as good as he's been this season, we shouldn't be relying on him. He's kind of a Juan Mata situation, and he's on high wages, and Ineos look to sell him. From the information I've heard, it's almost confirmed that even if they play themselves into some good form and play a bit this season, none of their contracts are going to be extended, is what's sort of being said. Agate apparently isn't as good as a finished 33-year-old Eriksen in a DM role, according to Ball Fraud. Interesting way of putting it. I think Ten Hag didn't want Eriksen. Sorry, Ten Hag didn't want Agate. He wanted to keep McTominay. I think Ten Hag doesn't understand Agate, because Agate's got such a unique skill set, and Erik Ten Hag's not setting up to play to Agate's unique skill set. In fact, he's asking Agate to do things which are his weaknesses. So I think Erik Ten Hag needs to figure and learn what kind of player Agate is. It's clearly an Ineos signing, and Ten Hag needs to realise that, yeah, we can play Eriksen as a 10. He's been great. You can do Eriksen as a 10, Maino as an 8, Agate as a 6 if you want to try something different. Agate, Casemiro, Eriksen. But for me, Agate, we've got to integrate him more. We've got to play him more, and apparently they do plan on doing that as well. I know I'm losing faith in them now, Dan. I'm assuming you're talking to Dan. I thought you said something about Dan Ashworth. I'd say that it is deep with Sir Alex Ferguson. He's arguably the biggest legend ever. You figure a way to keep him on regardless, which is a fair statement as well in the Sir Alex Ferguson thing. Evans as a defence coach. I think Evans could stay on and do some coaching. Do you think Maguire could go? Potentially as well. I'd send Evans over Maguire. We couldn't sell Harry last 2 summers, no reason. Yeah, the thing is, I feel like if we extend Harry Maguire's contract, we'll just keep him at the club on his wages for another year. I mean, with the centre-back injuries we've had and the fact that he's not that bad, it isn't the end of the world. But when you look at the wages Maguire's on, he needs to be starting week in, week out on those wages as well. Alice, so you Ten Hag in or Ten Hag out? To be honest, I'm on the fence. I think either decision is the right decision. If Ineos, the way I see it, and this is a bit of a cop-out, I'm not going to lie, is Dan Ashworth. I am someone that's always been a big fan of Dan Ashworth. Spoke to Brighton fans about him. Spoke to West Brom fans about him. Newcastle obviously have a different view of him now, but he was building something good at Newcastle. Why is my camera so laggy? It's really annoying me. I'm just, for me, I'm on the fence. I think he probably will be sacked. So are we delaying the inevitable? But I want it to work, and I'm sort of in the mindset of right now. You know, we've wanted this, we've wanted that, we wanted this, we wanted that, we wanted this manager, we wanted that player. It didn't work. It didn't work. It didn't work. I'm just going to leave it to Ashworth, and I'm just going to trust Ashworth to make the right decision. If Ashworth thinks that he's going to give Ten Hag a bit more time, he knows more than me, I'm going to back Ashworth on that. Is he giving Ten Hag more time just because of the money they spent on Ten Hag for the wrong reasons? Then I don't back that. But if he's giving Ten Hag time because for the right reasons, then I'll back that. But if Ashworth decided to wake up tomorrow and sack Ten Hag, I'd also back that. Because I think there's an argument. There's probably more of an argument to sack him now than to keep him because of how bad it is. We are 14th, but I'm just putting my trust in Ashworth to make the right decision, and it's a bit of a cop out. So I'm Ten Hag's on thin ice to me. You know, a couple more bad results, and I will just have to say, you know what, I'm Ten Hag out. But I don't want to say Ten Hag out because I have that hope that he'll turn it around and that sort of want and belief that he'll turn it around. But I don't like how he's misprofiling our players, and I feel like he's not getting the best out of any of our players. I do feel like we're regressing under him, which is probably my biggest concern as well. Agate, far too early to judge one way or the other, hardly playing in the right now. Yeah, I mean, people are writing off Agate as the signing already. Start 2 games? He's been all right. He's not been great, but he's being misprofiled, and I think, you know, anyone that plays for United in midfield at the moment is going to have a difficult time. So it's way too early to judge Agate and how that signing might be as well. Maguire could be to West Ham for 10 million. Yeah, there is rumours that Man United are willing to cash in on Maguire for just 10 million in January, which I think would be a really good deal for Wolves. So what are sort of Ineos' secret weapons? Because Ineos are saying this is a long-term project. They feel positive despite the negativity. Ineos view their takeover as Manchester United as a long-term project with the aim of challenging for the Premier League title by 2028. Young talents like Lenny Yoro, Kone, and others are central to the club's future plans. Sporting director Dan Ashworth has been brought in to enhance the academy and overall environment at United, creating conditions for manager Erik ten Hag to succeed. So Dan Ashworth's job is basically thinking of the academy, thinking of the sports science department, but his overall job is to create the best conditions for Ten Hag to concede, which is by giving him the best academy players, the most fit players, the most in health players, bringing in the coaches he needs to coach the players, the assistants. All of that is Dan Ashworth's role. And it was said this season players like Kone and Obi Martin could see first team minutes, while Lenny Yoro is expected to play a significant role in the squad as things continue. But Dan Ashworth is continuously looking to bring in people to help Ten Hag. He's got a plan to integrate Obi Martin and Kone. He's got a plan for Lenny Yoro to be a regular player this year, and he has got a few sort of weapons up his sleeve in terms of United's future. Very much, thank you very much, Kaizen, for joining at the Members Club. Much appreciated there as well. What if he wants Southgate? He doesn't. He doesn't. I've been told from a really credible source that he would never bring Southgate in, and I trust that source, and that it's just the media speculating because he's worked with him before as well. Someone doesn't buy Harry in January, just let him walk for free. Guys, let me know in the chat, would you let Harry Maguire walk for free, or would you keep him on for another year, or is it just going to depend on the transfer window we have as well? 2028, Alice Lowe, what are you, about 20 years away from a title? I mean, look, the plan is by 2028. I'd like to win something in 2027, but I think 2025 is not going to happen. 2026, which is next season, I'd like to be challenging. 2027, I'd like to win. 2028 probably is the most realistic, as I think 2027 with the right transfer window is realistic. But yeah, it's a long-term project is what they're saying. They're saying don't expect overnight success just because you've not seen this and this yet means it's going to be a failure. And I think Ineos is a long-term project, and we've got to remember that. But also, I think we've had 10 years of crap that as a fan base, we're losing patience. And I'm happy for a long-term project if I'm seeing something now. The problem is we're not seeing anything from Ten Hag now. We're 14th. We were crap last season. You know, if we're not at the top, but we're seeing something under Ten Hag that we can get behind and believe in that he's going to take us to the top in the next 2 years, we would feel much better as a fan base. But at the end of the day, we don't feel good as a fan base because we you know, 4 years of challenging, 4 years to challenge. With this manager, it could take 10 years for me as well. It feels like we're like 20 years. Someone said we haven't won a Premier League in 10 years, so we do need to win one soon because we're going to turn into Liverpool. Someone said, Alice, read my message. I don't know what your message was. My targets for next summer: manager Ruben Amorim or Hoeneß, left back Robinson, left centre back Branthwaite, DM Stiller, centre mid Belieber, right wing Javon. Do I even know who that right wing is? I'm gonna Google him. Giovanni Coenda. Is that a Portuguese guy? Oh, so he's a 17-year-old wonder kid. I have to do some research on him. I've not watched him. Around 200k a week for a fourth choice centre back is starting to pick up injuries. No thanks. And I think that's probably why Ineos may offload Maguire as well. Just because of the injuries and the fee. Feel sorry for Euro. He must look at Real Madrid Stadium and our rust bucket and the fact that we play worse football than Stoke City under Pulis. I mean, look, the football we're playing isn't great. The state of Old Trafford isn't great, but it should improve in good time. Ineos are quite confident that this is a long-term project and that the club is going to improve in good time and get back to the best. That is their plan, and let's hope they're right about that. It has been said that Man United have been very patient and offer Erik ten Hag time and support. So apparently Man United are sticking with ten Hag for the Brentford game, where we are. I think the fact he wasn't sacked by last Friday, I think was confirmation we were going to stick with him for the Brentford game. United are sticking with ten Hag for the Brentford game. They're going to back him for the Brentford game. All of that, give him time and support, according to Minister Reddy. Fabrizio Romano then said that Erik ten Hag didn't receive any communication from the club. The board never felt they had to tell him something. They discussed about the situation and the problems at the club, and they insisted that they was never close to being sacked. So Man United are now coming out and briefing journalists that they were never close to sacking ten Hag. I think they were talking about sacking ten Hag. I think Ratcliffe probably said he wanted to sack ten Hag, but Dan Ashworth, for some reason, has said, we're not going to sack him yet. We've brought in Renahaka, we've brought in Van Nistelrooy, we've done this, this, and this. Let's trust the process as well. Surely Erik ten Hag has to turn it around immediately this season. It's falling apart, says Alex B. He does. Erik ten Hag's probably been told, you're not sacked yet, but we need to see something. We need to go to Christmas and say, yeah, this team's back on track. That's what we need to see. You know how Arsenal started really badly under Arteta and then they finished fifth in the end and just 1 point off top four? We need something that does that, where all of a sudden there was a switch in Arsenal after losing the first 3 games of the season. Alice, if we don't get Branthwaite, which other left centre-back would you like? I like Schlotterbeck of Dortmund. I like Lukibar of RB Leipzig. Bastoni's also a good player, but he's more of a back three kind of player as well. So exactly tells your fans fell for media clickbait every day. Got to stop believing the crap by the media. I mean, look, there's so much crap by the media. We talk about it on this channel. We got told for the last 3 days in a row that ten Hag was going to be sacked and this manager was going to come in, that manager was going to come in. On this channel, we read all the reports and all of that, and I give you my opinion. And I said I think it's 60% ten Hag stays, 40% he's sacked, and that looks to be the case. That he's more likely staying than sacked. But the media always report, as soon as things go wrong, that ten Hag's being sacked. We've had so many stories these last 2 weeks of Tuchel, Hoeneß, Amorim, Vivel, Alonso, ten Hag out, ten Hag in. But look, it looks like ten Hag's staying. It looks like he's got a few more games. And the media just use United for interactions. They just use Man United for clicks. That's why there's so many stories about us and the manager situation going about. Schlotterbeck, my boy, but he does a whoopsie pretty much once a game. He's got a bit of a mistake in him. He's got a bit of a mistake in him as well. I'd like Vivel Gem for left centre back. We do not need to spend a fortune in that position, and I think that's a good point from Alex. I don't think we need to go all out on left centre back. If there is a gem there that Vivel is looking at and identifies that could be young and fits the profile of player we want, then most definitely there, because I think we've got Martinez, we've got De Ligt, we've got Euro, but we just need that extra left centre back for help as well. Tuchel looks like he's going to be the next. Tuchel looks like he's going to be the next England manager, apparently, as well, which is quite interesting. Alice, would you rather have Pep or Tuchel? Pep. I mean, is this for England or Man United? I mean, for both, Pep. But, I mean, look, imagine if Ineos pulled off a miracle. Imagine if Ineos absolutely pulled off a miracle and got Pep Guardiola. I don't think they would, but he does like a challenge. If Pep Guardiola wants to, make a statement, then wow. If he wants to make a statement and come to Manchester United. But there is talk of Pep going to England. I think Tuchel might go to England. There's a couple of people concerned. Do you think that with Tuchel potentially taking the England job, a lot of people are saying, the manager market's getting slimmer and slimmer. Could that be pressure on Ineos to act now? Because if Pep obviously goes, that might, if Tuchel goes to England, that's one less manager for Ineos to choose from, and the manager market's got even slimmer from summer, so there could be a bit of pressure on Ineos to hurry up and get some moves done and sorted as well. Just been messaged something as well. Yeah, okay. It was also said there probably is only a small minority left thinking ten Hag will stop the ship from sinking. Now, we're going to talk about this because obviously Thomas Tuchel's going to probably go to England if, some of the reports are true. I don't know. I think I'm 50-50 on if that's happening or not. But with Thomas Tuchel being linked to the England job, that is one less manager potentially available for United if they sack Ten Hag, and rumouredly they want Tuchel. So, how are Ineos believing that Ten Hag is going to turn it around? Or do they just keep Ten Hag because they think, do we want to sack him this soon after this summer? Do we want to sack him this soon? I think they've only kept Ten Hag more because they don't want to sack him this early on, rather than they think they can turn it around. If I'm going to be honest, I don't think many believed he can turn it around, which is the sad truth as well. We need improvements, and we need improvements now. Pep Guardiola is never coming here. I never said he was. I just said it would be a dream. Talking of the situation with Thomas Tuchel, it was said the FA are in talks with representatives of Thomas Tuchel, with the German coach now in pole position to become the next New England manager. We've had talks with Thomas Tuchel. We've had talks with Pep Guardiola. While none of them are English, I mean, there's two very good candidates for the England job. There's no denying that at all, is there? I'd say McKenna's favourite, especially if Ipswich stays up. I think if Ipswich finish mid-table and have a good season, McKenna instantly becomes favourite for the job as well. They do like him. I think they like Thomas Frank as well, but Thomas Frank takes a little bit of time to adapt as well. Tuchel's man management style fits with international football, not around a squad 24/7. I agree. I think Tuchel, and I've always said this for international football, I think Tuchel will be very good in international football. He's proven to do well in the Champions League, got to 3 finals in a row, winning one of them. I think did enough to win with PSG as well. And I thought, he done really well. He got to the semi-final, not the final last time out. But he was a bit unlucky versus Real Madrid in the semi-final. So I think Thomas Tuchel's a really good manager, really good tournament manager. I think he'd be very good for England. I think he would be better at England than he would at United as well. And we've won Soddle in decades of most of the England managers. Time for a change. Yeah, I mean, people are really against having a non-England manager, but I'm all for having a non-England manager if the manager's good. I think it is time for a change. Talking of changes, Manchester United could be preparing a big spend. Ineos is well aware that steering Manchester United back to success is a long-term project, but the group is fully prepared to invest heavily again in 2024 to help the club get back on track. A left-back and a midfielder are possible targets for January transfer window, though extending of spending will largely depend on player exits over the course of 2024. Ineos are expected to make 5 to 7 new signings, again influenced by outgoing transfers. United are reportedly looking to offload names like Antony, Casemiro, and potentially even Maguire, which could free up significant funds by slashing their wage bill. These moves would give the club financial flexibility as they continue their rebuilding efforts under the new ownership. And my voice is just about to go, so give me one sec to take a sip of water there, but Ineos sort of are planning to spend in 2024 to get Man United back on track. So we're going to talk about who I think those 4 signings could be. Just bear with me a sec. I'll sort that out there. Perfect. So Ineos could bring in 5 to 7 players in summer, depending on the outs. They want Casemiro out. They want Antony out. They probably want Maguire out. Ericsson, all of that's going to go for free. Malacia and Shaw could maybe go. Rashford could go, Bruno could go, Mason Mount could even go. I mean, I think who goes massively depends on obviously what happens as well this season, who plays well, who doesn't play well. With Mason Mount has another bad season, I think he's gone. If Rashford has another bad season, I think he could be gone. But that made me think, who would I bring in? And I'm quite interested to know who you guys would bring in right now. This is right now, so this could very much change throughout the season. If someone has a really good season, and I could add them to this list. If someone has a really bad season, I could take them away from this list. But as of now, and again, this massively depends on the price and the fee involved, I'm thinking Robinson left back. He's 28. He's really good at getting up either flank. He's defensively solid. He's really good going forward. He's Premier League proven. I just want someone that's going to come in that left back position and is ready now. We've got young players. I need someone that's ready now. He's 28. That means when he's 31 and looking to sort of head off in 3 years, Harry Amass is 20 years of age, and you'd be looking at Harry Amass potentially being ready to take his spot, learn from him, puts us in a good position. Left centre-back, I've gone with Branthwaite. I think there's a lot of good options out there in the left centre-back market. If Everton get relegated, I think Branthwaite is a really good option to get for maybe 40 million. I think when we lack physicality, I think Branthwaite brings exactly what we want. DM is Stiller. I love Stiller. I think he's a fantastic player. I'm not sure if we're going to get him, but I think he's better than Adam Wharton. I think he's a good DM, and I think United needs someone that's good on the ball. Centre mid, Angel Gomez available on a free in January. It'd be interesting to see if we act on that. And then because of Bruno's form, I've gone for someone that can play on the wing and attacking midfield. So I've gone with Xavi Simons. It was a toss-up between him and Eze. But if I was really being honest, Musiala's the dream. I love Supermende as well. He'd be the dream instead of Stiller. And Kvaratskhelia would be like the dream in terms of my dream winger. But they were sort of my sort of transfers I've gone with. I would love Gittins and Dibbling. There's potentially ones to watch as well. I think Xavi Simons is underrated as well. Alphonso Davies is thinking about joining United following the to Managerial. What a freebie that could be. I mean, it could be a massive freebie, but I think when we're in 14th right now and Real Madrid want him, I think he's probably going to go to Real Madrid, if you want me to be totally honest as well. Diving into this next story, I want to talk about Harry Amass, because I really want to see Harry Amass given a chance. Now, there was a rumour that Harry Amass was injured, but this has come out from the United Scout saying, I understand Harry Amass' calf is fine. Harry started and played the full 90 minutes in England's 3-1 win over Ukraine, and it's extremely positive news. So Harry Amass had a little calf injury. People were worried. He's played 90 minutes. He put in a fantastic 90 minutes. He looks good. And then obviously we've not had Harry Amass on the bench for one game this season because Ten Hag doesn't believe he's physically ready. And I think he isn't physically ready. But I also think he could do a better job than Lindelof at left back. I'm at the point where I'd rather see him at left back, who could get exposed defensively just because he will improve our attacking dynamics, and our attacking dynamics suck, which is why we're not scoring goals, than Lindelof at left back. I personally like to see Harry Amass given a few minutes. Let me know your thoughts down below. But this is what I said on the situation. I'm sure that Ten Hag hasn't even had Harry Amass on the bench for one game this season, especially given that we have 0 fit left backs. I know he needs to develop physically, but his ability on the ball during pre-season was fantastic, even under pressure. Having a left footer to overlap and release the ball quickly worked well with Rashford. I thought Harry Amass and Rashford on that left-hand side had a few really good games together in pre-season. And I know why he was sort of getting done at times in pre-season because of his defensive awareness and lack of physicality. And I get that Ten Hag doesn't want to take that risk in the Premier League, but when you look at what he brings to the ball, our build-up, and if you look at the kind of left-back Ten Hag wants profile-wise, Harry Amass can be that guy. For me, I'd like to see Harry Amass on the bench. I don't want to see Evans at left-back. I don't want to see Lindelof at right-back. I want to see Harry Amass on the bench, or potentially even starting for United, which is a massive risk, I know. But I think it's the kind of risk Ten Hag should be going with. If Ten Hag wants to be a long-term United manager, he needs to go with a long-term plan, not these short-term plans to stay safe. I think Rashford would also go up a level just having a left footer on his side. And when you look at that, the fact that Antony, Ahmad and Lindelof have all played out of position, either left-back or right-back, we're now considering Evans. I just think take Amass. I think take Amass. I know that there's some limitations physically, but I do just think take Amass as well. Manager sees players every day. He says it's not ready. Fans say it's ready. It's too risky, and I get that for sure. But look, we watch the same crap Eric Ten Hag watches every week. Watch the same matches, and Eric Ten Hag comes out and says, "Oh, that was fine," you know. And I'm thinking, no, that half was crap, Eric. I guess he has to be positive and watch what he says. But still, I'd like to see Harry Amass get some more minutes. Talking of sort of the left back situation, talking of injuries and updates in regards to that, we have got a few interesting stories coming out. Obviously, Tyrone Malacia is set to make his return. Tyrone Malacia and Luke Shaw will not be available versus Brentford, but they will basically be able to return to the full full training and all of that as well. So that's good to see them back in sort of training and being involved as well. Malacia and Luke Shaw could be back in action within the next couple of weeks for United, which will be great to see. I think Malacia in particular, because we've not seen him for maybe a year and a half as well. Mental to let Alvaro go. We need his left back waiting on Amass's development. I agree. I still can't go over the fact we let Alvaro go, especially for that cheap. I know there's a buyback clause and sell-on clause, but I don't know if that's worth doing unless we really want the player. There's no point doing it for the sake of it to try and sell him for more money, like Villa have done in the past and Chelsea done in the past. We only bring him in if we want him. But it's good to see Malacia back. I just hope he can stay fit. Our December and January schedules have been published. On Boxing Day, we will have Wolves at 5:30. We've got a game on Saturday the 21st. We've got a game on Monday the 30th. We've got Everton and we've got Arsenal in December in the Premier League. We've got Forest and then we've got City. So we've got some difficult games coming up. We've got City and Arsenal within 11 days of each other. Both are away as well. So December could be make or break for Ten Hag after that City away game or even the Arsenal away game. I think December is going to be a really big month for Eric when you look at the fixtures coming up. In terms of other news, and I covered some of this briefly in my video earlier today that got deleted, but I did say it's possible Manchester United will sign a central defender and midfielder and left back in January, central defensive midfielder and left back in January. So United looking at 2 January signings, a defensive midfielder and a left back. They did look at Alphonso Davies. He's one of the desired targets. They've already gathered a lot of information on Davies, but they don't think he's going to go to them. He's running down his contract for Real Madrid. He's definitely not running down his contract for United. I'd like Alphonso Davies at the club, but I just think there's no way we get him. I know we've got Lenny Yoro in the end, but I think Davies is a bit more established and he's running his contract down for a reason. I think Davies will probably end up going Liverpool. I think Trent will go Liverpool, and they would have signed Davies, Trent and Mbappe on free transfers in the last 2 years to have the best striker and fullback pairings out there. which is so annoying how well run they are. There was talk that United are monitoring the situations of Leon Goretzka and Sane over for a possible transfer this summer. It is possible that United will strengthen their squad in the winter with a DM. Goretzka's an interesting candidate for them. However, he still wants to stay beyond winter at this stage, and contract is till 2026. So there is apparently some talks of Goretzka going on there. But if I'm going to be honest, I don't think we need Goretzka. I don't think Goretzka's one I look at and think that's a must deal. Ineos must sign him. I don't think he's that good. I think it's very much a career mode type signing rather than actually someone that we need. I get the depth and numbers. That's what we need. We need more depth. We need more numbers. But I don't know if Goretzka's the guy for Manchester United as well. Hardly any true fans of these are anymore. Mbappe got an 80 million signing fee. I mean, the reason Mbappe ran down his contract is for that 80 million signing fee, which is absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. It was also said that Manchester United may need a significant departure from Eze, 60 million release clause. So Man United may need a significant departure to afford Eze 60 million release clause, what it said. Sorry, I zoned out. And that because he's got the ability to play AM and wide forward, he makes him more appealing. But for us to actually bring Eze in, it looks like we're going to need 60 million, which I don't think is what we're going to spend on Eze. I think Ineos have proven that they're going to be a bit tighter on spending than the Glazers were in the past as well. Do you think we'll get relegated to the Championship? No, I don't think we will. In terms of ones to watch, as mentioned earlier, Antony, Robinson, Kirkes, Locker and Aït-Nouri are the left-backs to watch. Ericsson, Lindelof, Evans and Heaton are leaving this and Antony up for sale. And obviously there was the whole situation with Sir Alex Ferguson and Adam Crafton. I'll let you read that yourselves. And then there's some plans to have Højlund involved versus Brentford. He's seen as the main striker. Ten Hag wants to identify and integrate with Garte and properly as well. So hopefully we see some better performances from Garte. But I do want to see Xerxes and Højlund play together at least once. I just want to see them together at least once. But listen, people, please do hit that like button. Of course, subscribe down below if you're new. Thank you for watching. Bye.